Hello people of YouTube, Rich from PCGamesN here, and I'm joined by Matt.
Hi there.
And today we're talking Shadow of the Tomb Raider because Matt, lucky thing, has got to play it. So you're fresh back from the Shadow of the Tomb Raider reveal event in London. You've got to play, how much have you got to play?
So I got to play one mission, which is roughly about 45 minutes worth of it.
Okay, cool. So you've seen a little bit of the setting and you know, the intro and the premise and everything. Walk us through what's happening in Lara's latest adventure.
Right, okay, so this is obviously set a little while after Rise of the Tomb Raider. She has had sort of like some, I guess, story beats in her own life that have been happening, so we're seeing Lara in a kind of different guise now.
Bad breakup or something.
Yeah, I'd imagine kind of maybe a bad breakup with a mountain is the deal. But she's kind of different to how we left her last time. Okay. She's a more confident Tomb Raider. You know, she knows the business now.
Yeah, almost to the point of overconfidence.
Yeah, yeah. So very much like she's been doing her father's work, which has always been her thing, and that has led her to South America, and she's now become very interested in Mayan prophecy. Obviously, Trinity, who are the evil company that was particularly emphasised in Rise of the Tomb Raider, that are kind of like, so there's so much linkage to her history, but they're kind of like the people that were, you know, going against her father,
right?
And so she's constantly trying to outstep them at every maneuver, and that has led her to South America, which means they have this wonderful kind of jungle setting, very lush. It's interesting how this game actually seems to open, at least this mission did, within a Mexican town. Now that's not something that Tomb Raider does very often. Yeah. It's such an isolated series that puts you on the top of mountains, down in the depths where there are no other people.
Yeah.
To actually be in a place with communities and actually, you know, walking around almost Assassin's Creed style.
Yeah, and we've seen a little bit of this in the screenshots which leaked earlier today, which weren't due to. But yeah, so this is why I'm interested in this game more so than I have been in any Tomb Raider before. It's not a series that I've got on with particularly in the past, but the setting, the fact that it's, you know, Mexico and South America, and you see a little bit more of towns and communities in such a vibrant part of the world.
Oh yeah, and they've obviously used the Day of the Dead as the opening to this. So
of course.
Flowers, sugar skulls, masks. It's really, really nice, and maybe it's a bit of a slow opener to that mission. I did kind of feel like, because you're tracking someone from Trinity, it's very much like, can we speed things up a little bit here? But it doesn't linger too much. The moment you've kind of figured out what he's doing, like, let's get on with it.
So tell us a little bit about the premise and the stakes, and you know what the basic, without anything spoilery, the basic setup for the plot.
So it seems to revolve around Mayan prophecy and Mayan gods. So I think we're probably looking at Ixchel and Chakchel. Right. These are goddess of the moon and of destruction. And it seems to be basically, the idea is that this tomb that you go to in the opening kind of mission, Lara's there to claim this dagger that is a key. The interesting plot beat that comes with this is that apparently you shouldn't take the key unless you also take this silver box.
Right.
If you don't have both of them together, you cause the Mayan apocalypse. And so this is a really interesting element for Lara, because like, whereas like her previous missions have always been about encouraging knowledge, and you know, the very Indiana Jones, the nobility of looking into mysteries to widen humanity's understanding of the past. It seems now, because she's so aggressive in terms of keeping Trinity at bay, it feels like possession is her new obsession.
Yeah, she's gone a little bit reckless.
Yeah,
sort of like drifted away from her sensibilities and ideals.
And because she hasn't researched about the fact that you need to take these two in peace, she's just taken this one piece alone and has inadvertently sort of started to cause natural disasters.
That's a mistake. Okay, so that's the setup. What do you see in terms of like gameplay and any new mechanics that we're seeing?
So it's probably worth pointing out it's very, very similar to what you've played before. Right. Now, Rise of the Tomb Raider felt a little bit different to the original Tomb Raider, because the original Tomb Raider is very much built in the mould of the Uncharted games, right? It's quite a roller coaster going from set piece to set piece with a fairly linear story. Rise changed that by making it a hub world system.
Oh,
where you go to sort of areas and I liked it because it was you doing archaeology. You were kind of going around digging things up and spending time in an area as if it was a dig site that also had links to different missions. This feels like, while there wasn't any hub worlds present in this section, probably because it's so early on in the game and it's just getting the story going, generally the way that you moved around those areas felt very similar. So I don't think this is going to be a change in the way that Rise was. What it does do is bolt on new mechanics and bolster your tool set. So Lara has her climbing axes, which we've used in several different ways before in the games. Now she can actually attach a rappel rope to them and drop almost Mission Impossible style. Okay. And that's wonderful because you get you can come to the bottom of the cliff face and then almost get this beautiful vista as she lowers herself down. And because a lot of the Mayan tombs are underground, whereas the Byzantine tombs were in the previous game tended to involve going upwards, there's a real kind of descent, which I guess links into the fact that this is a darker Lara, a more reckless Lara. There's a lot of visual to mechanical things.
It also makes a lot more sense with the Mexican terrain because there are all these tunnels. I think they're called cenotes underneath the Yucatan Peninsula.
So the interesting thing about that,
diving in one of them.
Yes, right. Okay, so you're leading me straight in. I'm pleased you've got all this real world experience. You can empathise with Lara on the fact that because she's going down, there are an awful lot of flooded out caverns beneath these Mayan sort of areas she's going. So underwater exploration is the new kind of big mechanic for this game.
Interesting.
So I've done 2 sections within the game that I've played. One was within the tomb. Had a fairly unpleasant experience with an eel down there. But yeah, that is it's pretty much underwater swimming as you know from a lot of other 3D action games. But it's incredibly beautiful, the way that the light diffuses through the water and stuff like that. There's a later point where it's in a more urban sort of area and there's a bus that you have to smash through the window, climb your way through, get the back door open so you can escape. And yeah, I think that underwater adds another level of danger. It's always, the way that Tomb Raider works is you put Lara in danger and you sort of you feel for her and you want to help her break out from those situations. And water adds another level of danger to that.
Okay.
So that stealth fighting is the other element. As I pointed out, Lara is a tougher, more reckless, more ruthless character this time around, and yeah, she's learned how to stab people pretty good. So because you're in the jungle, there's a lot of areas where you can essentially hide in the undergrowth. So if you go up against walls that have got vines on them, she'll kind of drop back into the vines and let them cover her. So that almost creates a Metal Gear Solid kind of element there.
Almost, yeah.
You let people walk in front of you and then you strike out and jump. And yeah, it's you even just look at how they've rebuilt Lara's kind of model. Her arms are huge. She's been doing the gains.
Right, okay.
And it's almost got a Sarah Connor kind of build to her now. And yeah, it's because she, when I say Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I think that indicates so much. It's not just about the darkness of where her character's going, but it's also that she strikes from the shadows. They've created an almost predator element to her.
Okay, interesting stuff. Sounds like lots going on in terms of how Lara has grown as a character. Let us know if you're interested in picking up Shadow of the Tomb Raider, or if you're a long-time fan of the series, or if this is your first point of entry, as it sort of probably will be for me. I think I played the first 1995 or 6 Tomb Raider, and that turned me off the series for good, basically.
Oh, right. So if I tell you that animals are definitely back, does that not excite you at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, leopards were seen.
Okay, well, that's, I guess that's exciting too. More endangered species killing. Thanks very much for watching as always. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.